Criminals getting stopped by police can often use many violent methods to try and escape. But what happens when suspects try to seduce and flirt with cops to avoid sentences? Here are 4 examples of when this very situation was...
Alright, let's see. Who's going? Kelly Barton, wildin'. Skylar Fluss, I don't know, like a pageant kid. Lydia Badillo and Brooke Teague. Looks like a messy situation here.
Was caught on camera. Starting with 48-year-old Kelly Barton, who drove into a lamppost while transporting a special needs patient for work.
While transporting a special needs patient for work, she's that smashed that she smashed into a light pole, and when the law got there, she's still in the back seat laid out. You wildin'. She's the one with special needs.
However, when police arrived, she was looking a little worse for wear.
Kelly? Yes?
Yes?
Good.
Kelly admits that she had too much to drink that evening, but doesn't admit to driving, despite it being her job. Unfortunately for her, though, security camera footage from the gas station proves that she was, in fact, behind the wheel, and is now facing charges of both DUI and neglect due to the responsibility she carried while driving with the patient. But as an ambulance pulls up to perform some tests on her, Kelly reveals that she has another trick up her sleeve, and begins repeatedly flirting with all of the officers at the scene.
Look at you handsome. You want the light squad to check you, ma'am? Let them do what they gotta do. Come on, boys.
Frisky.
I want the little young boys. Ask me how I'm feeling. Let the little young boys tell me.
Damn.
Let me tell you something. What I would do to you with your blue eyes.
Let me check your
blood sugar real quick. Look at him.
Let me check your blood sugar.
I would do him in a way that he won't even. Hey, look. He can look tough all he wants, right? Don't let me get him.
After multiple tests, it's clear to the officers that Kelly was way over the legal limits and is arrested for driving while intoxicated. And after struggling to get her into the police vehicle, she's sent on her way to the police station. But if you think Kelly was bold for talking to cops like that,
she didn't seem that. I mean, she was just talking her shit. She wasn't offering nothing. She knew she wasn't getting out of nothing. Wasn't nobody making the trade. Shit.
18-year-old Skylar Fluss is on a completely different level, going so far as to post this video to thousands of people bragging about how she got away with the DUI.
I got out of a DUI and got let off with a warning.
Privilege.
Skylar was pulled over after an officer saw her weaving around the road in a way that suggested she might not have been completely sober.
Look at that animal walking around entitled. No DUI for me. My daddies are this, my uncles are that. My great uncles were war heroes. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You're a hood booger in the pageant world.
To her video, she claims that using her flirtatious and quick wit, she managed to trick the officer and get away with a warning.
I blew a 3.8 and he let me off with
a 3.8 warning? Shit, he let you off with a weekend away at Turks and Caicos or something, because a 3.8, that's like a lot. Ain't that? She should be dead. Or was it a 0.38 or what's going on? Yo, straight entitlement. Look at it, privilege. And then some her uncles and some of her dad and her moms, they'll be in the comments talking crazy. She's just an innocent, wholesome girl. She's a pageant hood booger.
Warning.
Her flirtatious and quick wit, she managed to trick the officer and get away with a warning.
I blew a 3.8 and he let me off with a warning. And gave me his number and said we should meet for coffee or lunch. He was hot, so I'm getting lunch with him tomorrow.
If her story is true, then the officer would be in serious trouble. But luckily, the officer in question recorded the entire interaction on his body cam, and the video tells a completely different story.
Hello, my name's Deputy Stallman, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. I pulled you over because you're weaving a little bit back there. Where are you coming from?
I was coming from my friend's house. I actually just got dumped.
Okay.
I was like crying and like I'm really sorry.
Were you on your phone and stuff too?
I was trying to call him to get a hold of him because my heart hurts
Okay.
so bad.
Well, I'm just
Because my
concerned that you were
heart-
weaving.
We've reached the crying stage. Okay, so she's empathetic for her friend, and she's trying to reach out to her boyfriend or whatever, and she's crying now, and nobody gives a shit. She's not the victim in that video. I got a DUI and Turks and Caicos and you know what I'm saying? No, none of that. It's this right now.
Have you been drinking or anything tonight?
Everything.
No? Okay.
The deputy then does give Skylar a card with the sheriff department's information on it, but it didn't include his personal number and it didn't come with an invitation to dinner.
Sounds like you're having a rough night, so I'm not going to add to that by writing you a ticket or anything, okay?
All right, let's get to that. Sounds like you're having a bad night. That only happens in her neighborhood. That only happens with what she looked like. It happens in courtrooms with people that look just like her. Her brother, Tad. They just throw him. They just throw everybody else away. But him, they don't want to ruin his life. You look like you had a rough night. Like you know, it was hard to sleep in that jail. But don't worry, we'll take care of you. She reminds him of his daughter, and he don't want to take her to jail.
Department's information on it, but
For
it
DUI.
didn't include his personal
Smell
number
her breath,
and it didn't
bruh.
come with an invitation to dinner.
Sounds like you're having a rough night, so I'm not going to add to that by writing you a ticket or anything, okay? So I'm just going to give you a warning. It's not a big deal. I just want to make sure you're okay. You were weaving a little bit, and I just want to make sure you're okay to operate the motor vehicle.
Okay. And 5 minutes later, she's fucking calling him an asshole on video and telling everybody how, you know, they're having lunch tomorrow, living it up. None of these tears, none of that.
So my information's right here on the front. The reason I stopped you here is on the back. Wherever you're headed, get there safely, and I'm sorry you're having a bad night.
Yeah, I'm just right down the street. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, well, no, you don't need to apologize. I mean, you were weaving a little bit with no traffic out. I just want to make sure you're okay, that's all.
Skylar's video doesn't just contain disgusting footage of her laughing and bragging about exploiting this officer's kindness, but also states that she blew a 3.8 on the breathalyzer, ignoring that she wasn't even tested in the first place.
Yeah, I knew that shit
The
was
legal
real.
limit is
3.8.
only around
Didn't know 3.8. She needed, that 0.8.
0.8 and already makes driving dangerous. But a reading of
She would've died.
3.8 would imply Skylar was not only blackout drunk, but close to death,
Exactly.
as at a level of 4.0, respiratory failure is likely.
3.8,
But this doesn't mean
crazy.
Skylar was lying about being drunk underage. Videos were later discovered of her chugging tequila from the bottle
Look.
and acting drunk.
So look, that cop, he's responsible for that anyway. He didn't take her to lunch, but he let her slide, knowing what she was doing. She threw a little tear and eye at him. That's all it took. Sucker.
At a party just hours before she was caught driving. After
Look at
she
this
was
idiot.
confronted with this, Skylar confessed and admitted to everything.
I ended up getting a little too intoxicated.
Sure.
I was taking shots all night, and
course you
I
were.
decided to make the
Oh
dumbest
my God. My God. What the hell? Hold on. Let's take a long, hard look at these. This is what's wrong with y'all. Sheesh. Look at that. If you know, you know. God damn.
decision to get into my car and drive.
She also admitted that the officer never asked her out. That was just a lie for social media attention.
Yeah.
Regardless of her confession, though, no further action was taken against her or the officer who failed to test her. But the same can't be said for Lydia Badillo.
Listen, the officer, this dork right here, this big dork, she sold him on it.
Who failed to test her. But the same can't be said for Lydia Badillo. She was caught trying to transport 2 illegal immigrants over the Mexican border, and as soon as everything started to fall apart, she decided to try seducing the officer.
Just wait for me right here, okay? You don't have
looking
anything.
at your eyes. Sorry, sir.
What?
I'm looking at your eyes.
Why?
Because you look pretty handsome.
As soon as the officer realizes something might be up with the IDs,
Gremlin.
Lydia starts to smile and stare directly at his eyes before telling him how handsome he is. Obviously, this is just a trick to try and get out of the position she's put herself in. A trick that isn't going to work on this officer.
Estos documentos por un tiempo. Por un año. Ok. Pues son falsos, ok. Y tener documentos en estados de Texas, pues son falsos, ok. Y tener documentos en estados de Texas es un delito. Las ID, a esta te sale a un señor, a tuya. A esta no me sale nada. Ok, so estas identificaciones son falsas. okay?
After running the woman's driver's licenses through the national database, the officer discovers that the ID numbers return completely wrong results, meaning that both of them are totally fake. It's later discovered that the two women with Lydia in the car are both illegal immigrants from El Salvador. What's worse is that they were being transported through a service that often forces women into debt bondage, where the people who transported them will make them pay off their debt through forced labor and sex work. So, while Lydia was arrested and the two women sent back over the border, they may have been saved from years of horrible treatment and abuse. One thing's for sure though, Lydia's attempt at flirting didn't work one bit. Unlike Brooke Teague's attempt, which
it worked for Brooke? The irony.
Actually worked out well. So well, it's rumored that her and the cop are still together to this day. Brooke was pulled over after an officer witnessed her swerving around the road slightly.
Caught himself a wifey out there on the stroll drunk.
The cop are still together to this day.
That's funny.
Brooke was pulled over after an officer witnessed her swerving around the road slightly, a telltale sign that the driver was either intoxicated or in need of help. So he swiftly pulled her over, only to be greeted in a surprising way.
Hey, I'm Officer Smith, Bentonville Police Department.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Smith.
I've never heard that before in traffic stop. I appreciate that.
She got him already. This dude been waiting to get got. Sucker.
Hey, so I'm just stopping you for improper lane use.
Sorry, I was on the phone.
You're on the phone?
I'll be honest.
Okay. Who are you on the phone with?
My baby daddy. I'll show
Her baby daddy.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zachary?
Yeah.
How much do you have to drink tonight?
Only one drink.
Just one drink?
Yep. Yes,
Final
sir.
answer?
Miller.
A Miller Lite?
Yes. I won't lie to you, a Miller Lite.
That's all you've had?
Yes, sir. You can ask Zachary.
I don't really want to talk to Zachary.
I know you don't, but I'm just
He don't want to talk to Zachary because he's hating on Zachary because he's closing in on Zachary's chick. Look at these assholes, boy. Come on, thin blue stripers.
Okay.
In just this first minute of conversation, two things become clear immediately.
That the cop been waiting to get got and that Zachary's on the way out the door. Those are the two things that are...
Brooke has definitely had more than one beer to drink, and how well she and the officer seem to be getting along already. Both points that will get increasingly more obvious as the footage continues.
Yeah, I can smell it from across the car.
She's like, I had one Miller Lite. There's no... I wanted to say, like, a Miller did that to you?
Big Miller. 128 ounce Miller.
Freaking bucket of Miller. All right, where we at on it?
You a bucket of shit.
Awesome. Brooke?
Yes.
Teague. Am I saying that right? Teague?
Yes. Like baseball league.
Teague like baseball league.
Yeah. It helps people spell it because they never spell it correctly.
Brooke then gets taken out for some sobriety tests,
Oh, look at this
which
stumbling.
take much longer than anticipated.
Stumble monkey.
You're making me giggle. I'm sorry.
Snorting and shit. Look, he's giggling with her.
He makes me giggle too. It's okay.
Okay.
What a bitch ass cop, boy.
I snore. I'm from Huntsville.
We're supposed to be professional.
I'm from Huntsville.
We're supposed to be professional, but you're not. You're a trick. Or you're not being professional. You're
All
a
right,
trick.
stop laughing because you're making me laugh.
I'm not.
Right? Seriously.
I'm giggling. I'm
All right,
sorry.
this is a serious deal. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you go home. I'll meet you
You're
there.
smiling. I can't help it.
All right, stop.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, despite all the jokes, Brooke failed all the sobriety
Look at that
tests and was put under arrest.
How much you've actually had a drink?
I've had 2 Millers.
2 Millers now?
Two
That's
buckets.
Yes, sir. You can call Mitchell, the manager.
Okay.
Call Mitchell.
Go ahead and put
he
your
on the
hands
way
right
out
back for me,
too.
Okay.
After a search of her car, which turned up nothing but a loose car seat, she was driven back to the police station where the sparks continued to fly.
Oh,
I'm with
look,
you.
he's what?
Driven back to the police
Look,
station.
he's pushing her hair
After
back.
a search of her car, which turned up nothing but a loose car seat, she was driven back
Look at this trick.
to the police station where the sparks continued to fly.
I'm with you.
I'm with you.
Over here.
Oh
I'll
my
be
God.
with you later too.
There is a dog.
Where?
He's over there. Over here. His name is Kolyak.
Kolya?
That's my dog.
Is that your dog? What's his name?
His name is Coach.
Coach?
Look, he's showing her his dog. Aw. She showed him her victim ass boyfriend Zachary, and he showed her his dog.
Great day in the master.
Wow.
Did I go to high school with you?
I don't think so. Where'd you go to high school at?
Bentonville?
Yeah, not me.
Where'd you go?
Indiana. Valparaiso, Indiana.
Where in Indiana?
Valparaiso.
I was raised from Bluefield.
Really?
Note that despite the
abrupt
obvious
being a
chemistry,
trick.
Both Brooke and the officer have remained professional and are continuing to move on with the investigation. The officer had Brooke take a blood alcohol test where she blew 0.14%,
Look at this.
almost
Double-handed.
twice the legal limit. Brooke still spent the night in jail to sober up and had her license suspended temporarily. But this interaction shows how respect and professionalism can make an investigation much, much easier. It's just unfortunate that this cop didn't meet Brooke at a bar. Maybe things would have ended with a night at his place instead of the jail.
Well, from what you said, evidently, eventually it ends up at her place. Or at his place. He done got himself a... Zachary, you out the door, Zachary. Gonzo.